Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to a brand new video here today. And finally, the next patch for F1 2021 is out. 1.12 is live, and we finally have the white Red Bull and also Imola into the Formula 1 game. But yes, we have that one-off special livery that Red Bull ran recently at the Turkish Grand Prix. Was meant for the Japanese Grand Prix, obviously, to pay homage to the Japanese manufacturer Honda and their fans. Obviously the white and red, similar to the Japanese flag, but they ran it at Turkey obviously because Japan was not on this year's calendar, and now we have it in the game. It looks like permanently, which I'm not too sure how I feel about. It's a nice livery, don't get me wrong, but permanently feels a bit of a weird kind of strategy to put in the game. But anyway, and now we have Imola. We have the second race of the season. It's there alongside Portimao, and so here we are, our very first lap on the track on this game. This is legit my very first lap. Just hopped in straight away. Had to be done in the white Red Bull in time trial just to get a feel for the circuit, and I must say, this track feels even better than I thought it would do in the game. Like, I've obviously driven Imola on other games, like I said, of course, and we also obviously had Imola back in the day on F1 2013, but this is a much better recreation of it than it was in 2013, and with this game's handling model, the flow of this circuit is exquisite. This is my first lap, so there are quite a few mistakes. I'm still literally braking too early for most of these corners, getting used to things, but I gotta say I was very giddy hopping on. Obviously, been waiting for a while. I've even delayed my Season 3 of My Team Career Mode for this bloody track. So we've been waiting a while. We thought it was going to come Monday. No. Tuesday. No. Finally today. And yeah, up the hill, the elevation change, very noticeable. And this corner feeling quite nice in the Red Bull. Later on in the race, we become a little bit more confident with this corner and this one as well. On the right-handed, this one I broke a little bit too early there. You can really chuck it in, and then just it's the undulation and then also the kind of rhythm you get on the very unique style of curbs around Imola. Like, the curbs are quite inviting, yet also dangerous, because, you know, if you get on them, you're going to lose some time. You may spin off them, but at the same time, because they're quite shallow and they're right on the edge of the circuit, they do invite you to try and take the, you know, full width of the track and try and get that extra, you know, mile and tenth than just having a snap of oversteer and catching the car. But that was my very first lap of Imola. This was the second, going a bit more committed now into these corners, getting about 3-4 tenths there, a little snap there, but, you know, you can see him hustling and harrying the car a little bit around the track, and, you know, that's what you get with a track like Imola, you know, old school circuit. I feel like you can hustle and harry the car a lot more compared to the more modern kind of tilt inspired circuits where they're a little bit less lifeless, a little bit more lifeless, I guess you could say. And obviously, you know, we know how iconic Imola is, so it's just a treat to actually drive it, and I cannot wait to sink my teeth into it in My Team Career Mode. But first and foremost, for this video, we're going to do a whole race gameplay as Max Verstappen, starting from the back of the grid in this white livery. Let's get into it.
You join us in Imola as we prepare for what will undoubtedly be a magnificent day of racing. It's time, of course, for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. .1 miles of track here at Imola, featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula 1 circuits as it's driven anti-clockwise. Let's hope no one forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight of the circuit and its only DRS zone. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are three main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Unfortunately, Anthony Davidson, I think we will be going for a fair few gaps because we're here in last place, driving at Verstappen in that Turkish Grand Prix Red Bull. Here we go then to 5 red lights for the first time on F1 2021 to a race at Imola Fire lights are out and we are underway. It's a good start versus Mazepin. I'm quite curious to see what the AI are like, you know, the aggression levels. You know, it's a very tight circuit in places, so it's going to be difficult to make some moves. We dive down the inside of Schumacher, try and get Russell, and he squeezes into the corner in the same place where obviously Verstappen squeezed Hamilton off in real life in that wet Grand Prix earlier in the year. So it is just as tight as it is in real life, and you know, very difficult to get side by side. Then Russell showing me the door. That's fine though. We go down the inside of him now at the hairpin style corner as we go up the hill now delicately, and we overtake Raikkonen. We're going to try and finish that move off with some ERS. But yeah, AI, quite a few side by sides I must say on that one. So that's, you know, really good to see that they're going for it. But now let's see as we settle into a rhythm, of course, of the race. Now 16 laps. We're doing a 25% race here just to kind of get a feel and rhythm of a Grand Prix around here. Curious to see, you know, what the AI are like now, you know, after lap one, because lap one's very unique, obviously. Everyone's bunched up together. But now, how are they going to defend? Latifi very slow off that corner, already maybe sussing out some corners where the AI may be slightly weaker than the player, and that may be a favourite place to overtake as we now go down the inside. So that run off that chicane, getting a good run versus the AI, that's probably a place you're going to be overtaking maybe in career mode, and even maybe, you know, if it comes to multiplayer, league racing and whatnot, that may be a popular spot because it's quite inviting. But obviously downhill, you have to make sure you actually brake a little bit earlier than you maybe think, because you're going downhill, so the car rolls so much more. But now we close up to Lance Stroll. Big send on the inside there. Really confident under the brakes for the Red Bull car, and we're able to overtake the Canadian up into P14. Already tempted to try some moves in this section there as we close up to Giovinazzi. Very difficult though. The AI actually hold their line very well, and they actually move actively to the inside, the outside, try and defend. I feel like with the newer circuits, the AI definitely are better. I think with the older circuits, there's maybe some legacy, you know, AI lines they take from older F1 games that maybe not as defensive and realistic as a player or as like a human. Whereas on the newer circuits, I know Imola's not a new circuit to F1, but a new circuit to the game. I feel like the AI are coded that much better and a lot more aggressive. And as we now go for nearly a move on Ocon, this safety car is called out. So, you know, I didn't plan on this, but a safety car out in the very first race at Imola. So we're going to see how a restart goes. But we overtook Giovinazzi, was almost on the back of Ocon. A little bit annoying there, but we are already up into P13 now, lap 5. So making good progress, of course, in a Red Bull. We're going to be aiming for the podium, you know, at least minimum catching up to Sergio Perez, who I believe right now is in P3 behind the two Mercedes cars. But here we go then on the restart. The green flag goes. A bit awkward to kind of really suss out when you can go, but we are going for it and committing to an overtake on Ocon there. We need to get squeezed into the wall, just like Lando Norris did, remember, when he was overtaking two cars, I think, down that straight, if I remember correctly, at the real-life Grand Prix earlier this year. Leclerc side-by-side with Tsunoda. Looks like Leclerc may have an issue there as he's been overtaken by the AlphaTauri, but we get Ocon eventually with a switchback move from right to left and get to the other side of the circuit to make the move into the corner. Now dive down the inside of Vettel as well for good measure to get up into P11 on lap number 6, but that was mighty close. Let's look at a replay just to show you how committed I was. Didn't let off the throttle one bit, and look how close we were to that wall. That is Imola. That is commitment. That is absolutely exquisite. And now we're closing up to Alonso. Lock up a little bit. I think Leclerc has damage as he's holding up Alonso a fair bit. Again, getting a good run off this chicane, this time on the outside, actually. So Alonso will go defensive there, getting close to the edge. But this is what I meant by those curbs, you know, they're kind of in the Italian flags. They're so kind of flat at the start of them, then they get higher as you go on towards the grass and gravel. So they invite you to really make those close, right on the edge overtakes, or, you know, get to the edge of the circuit when you're hot lapping and whatnot, which I really dig. Leclerc, though, very defensive on the inside. There we go, around the outside. He's over the curb. We're over the curb. Very awkward on the left there. Those two yellow curbs are massive, so it's very difficult to get a side-by-side moment there. But Leclerc clearly has an issue because he drops down 3 more places by the time we get up to Yuki Tsunoda on lap number 8. But I want to try a move here. I want to try a move on the right-hander. Lift off a bit, commit then, and we squeeze Yuki out. He's still there. The elbows were out, though, and we just about make the move. That was a bit over-aggressive, but basically, if you want to make a move there, I've already kind of figured out on this with this one race. if you want to make a move there, you need to be either so much quicker, or you really need to get the elbow out and make sure that they kind of don't drag you along, and they need to give you some respect as well on the outside. But anyway, we move on through this race on to lap number 10. So in the first half of the Grand Prix, we're continuing on now. We're in first place as we're going long on this stint, because I did think about maybe pitting under the safety car, but for the sake of entertainment factor, in terms of making overtakes and racing people, I thought I'd stay out. And so we've come in now a lap later, because I did want to come in on lap 10, but Perez was in there, so I didn't want to double stack. So now we've set the medium tyres there. Kind of a, awkward pit lane entry, because it kind of, initially I thought I was meant to accelerate a lot longer, then realised the kind of line was actually quite short. So it's quite a long pit lane actually on the entry and the exit as well. So we're down, and we're the two Mercedes cars have overtaken us and Perez, but the two McLarens are going to be pretty close as we come through. The two McLarens are side by side. Ricciardo on the outside, Norris on the left there. They make contact twice, and a bit of puff of smoke comes off of the tyres, bang, and we get the move on Ricciardo on the inside. Now can we try and dive around the outside of Lando Norris maybe? No, not quite, but that was sensational to see the two McLarens going at it side by side, literally drag race down into the next corner, literally as we came out, and that's such a dangerous pit lane exit as it comes onto the racing line. That was awesome to see. But now, can we try and get Lando here? We won't be able to get him in, he's in a McLaren, so he's in a quick enough car to defend here. You can see her go for the move, but he goes very defensive. Clever defending from his AI. So now, can we go for the move on the chicane instead? Around the outside, deja vu from maybe what we did with Leclerc. We lock up a little bit, Lando's a bit deeper, and we just about nip it through on the inside. That was quite awkward, but it always is going to be at that corner because of the curb on the inside. If you go too tight, you're going to get caught up on it, go too deep, and vice versa on the outside. Meanwhile, right now then, end of lap 11 on to 12. The two Haas cars lead. Schumacher in the lead. Mazepin second. He's now been overtaken by Hamilton. Bottas now going for the move. These guys staying out a little bit longer. And Bottas slows down. And we've got the first big career collision and crash at Imola. And it's our teammate, Sergio Perez. No luck, it would seem, in the second Red Bull car. No front wing as Bottas slowed down as he was unable to overtake the Haas car. So will that be a feature in career mode? Seeing a few crashes there in the AI are awkwardly slowing down. I mean, that could be a horrendous situation if you're a player being behind two AI cars, but just showing how aggressive the AI are on each other. That's a Haas car squeezing out a Mercedes, not allowing him to easily overtake him, which is great to see. Obviously unfortunate for Perez, but those things happen. That's racing when you come to that corner, because Perez came in so quickly and Bottas was slowing down because of this man right here, the Russian in the Haas. We go round the outside, and that's the overspeed, the Red Bull V, the Haas, able to go and overtake him. And now we close up on Valtteri Bottas, DRS open, bit of ERS deployed at the start of that straight, and we're up into P3. And now we can chase after Mick Schumacher, who's still going on the mediums, I must say. Lap 14, is he okay? And Mazepin as well. So Haas going for a very strange strategy of going very, very long on the medium compounder tyre to try and then make a late pit stop. I don't know, clean air, I guess so, but the Haas is so slow, I don't think it's going to really make up that much time. But we're closing up now on Mick Schumacher, right now in a podium position, to be fair to Mick Schumacher. So lofty heights for the German, bit of a slow left-hander there due to the Haas lack of speed. But here we go, commitment down the inside, 6th gear, 5th gear. Schumacher gives us a real good fight. That was amazing there, to be fair to him, in a Haas car, but we eventually get the move up into P2, and that is all she wrote, because Lewis Hamilton will win this Grand Prix 7 points ahead. But I think we've done very well from last place on the grid to second place. I'll take that in our very first Imola Grand Prix race here on F1 2021. But that was a fantastic first outing on this track, on this new DLC that's come to F1 2021. It's out now, free for everyone if you have the game, guys, so go download it on any platform you've got. I've been aarava, though. If you did enjoy the video, hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. And like I said, now finally, Season 3 of my My Team Career Mode can begin with pre-season tomorrow. So stay tuned and keep your eyes peeled for that. Till then, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.